During a recent trip, we got our hands on one of these. And something makes this one very special indeed. Products and apps displayed are purchased for personal use. We have not received any gifts or sponsorship from mentioned parties, and there is no conflict of interest. This is the new Vivo X Flip clamshell smartphone. It is currently exclusive for Asian markets, although in recent days we start seeing it catching a lot of attention all over YouTube. In this video we will release 3 fantastic developments for all interested in the X Flip or clamshells in general. But first, let's take a look at some early ads and reviews failing at guessing what would make us wanna buy this machine.
นั่นก็คือ Vivo X Flip Vivo X Flip ส่วนตัว X Flip ที่เรา X4 กับ X Flip สำหรับ Vivo X Flip Vivo X Flip
And now back to sanity. This phone must have been designed by some clever engineers. No fancy useless stuff like, for example, wireless charging. Instead, more budget and space for high-capacity battery. Top-of-the-class camera lenses, even with optical image stabilization.
Your hair is all over the phone. No, you test it. Is it good?
Latest generation chipset and processors. Newest Android version, newest AI features. And yes, you have to sideload Google Play Store. However, our first good news is that doing so is like a walk in the park.
Guys, sideloading the App Store is the easiest thing I've ever done. I don't even know why would anyone pay for this stuff.
Just need to download the app file from one of the plenty trustworthy online sites and start installing Play Store apps already.
This is what a smartphone, a flip phone should be like. Close it and open with one hand.
So all features are better than competitors. But the main thing differentiating this one from the others is an open secret. The cleverly designed cover screen, letting this device also pass as a smart business communicator, or the BlackBerry of clamshells. Yes, we know the Motorola Razr 40 Ultra has an even larger cover screen. However, at some point, we have to be honest to ourselves. If we wanted a larger screen, we would have not opted for a clamshell in the first place. Instead, it is all about the right proportions and functionality. Only time will tell whether investing in the fancy cover screen at the cost of inferior battery capacity, camera lens, and Qualcomm chip was a bad idea. Especially when the price of the new Razr is still the highest among clamshells at a whopping 1,200 euros, it's gonna set you back by almost twice as much as the Vivo X Flip. At such a price to performance relation, the choice should be a no-brainer. Felt so intrigued, just imagine all the widgets and apps that can run on this cover screen. Oh, correction. Only a short list of Chinese apps allowed.
Okay, so this magic mirror allows me to add apps from a certain shortlist. Just don't know why only from that shortlist.
Why did the manufacturer design a pocket makeup mirror for vain girls? This really frustrated us. 4 weeks ago we tried everything. CoverOS was not compatible and went blank. The Samsung apps were no different. The discovered SamSprun cover screen launcher showed some promise, but eventually did not launch any app besides itself. And this is where the second good news come in. We got in touch with Vivo support, wrote them a nice letter explaining why we think they should allow users to experiment with third-party apps on cover screen, and they listened. Actually, the extent they went under the label of customer support was rather surprising. We did a little screen recording and error logging, and in 2 weeks got a reply with an attached app and instructions on how to use it. And yes, it is a cover screen launcher of some simple sort, but it works. One has to launch and close the app twice, then close the phone, open cover screen, and start swiping. Installed apps all show up on the list, and at least in our case all of them opened. Ah, the joy when you can use your apps on the cover screen without having to open the device. Taking some notes with the help of a virtual keyboard. Some AI chat with voice recognition and text-to-speech for the convenience of the everyday couch potato.
Your name.
Navigating YouTube, playing, pausing, browsing the playlists. Google Maps gets squeezed in nice. A little 90s DOS game, Boulder Dash. VLC player works as well. Playback in background works fine. A PDF reader with text-to-speech functions. Watching Netflix on the cover screen not even the greatest of Chinese emperors could have ever dreamt about. One downside is that once the app gets closed it does not force itself back. One has to open the clamshell and relaunch the cover screen overlay again. Without developer settings, most out-of-focus apps won't reopen without returning to main screen. Some simpler apps can be brought back. The ones we found always worked were good substitutes. Instead of Google Chrome found Brave. Instead of YouTube used MusicTube or FloatTube. The ones which respawned well were Google Translate, Blaze WordPad, Brave, MusicTube, and the board game called Color Lines. However, as we kept playing with developer settings, more apps kept respawning, allowing for an almost multitasking-like toggling between apps. Upon reporting back to Vivo, they told us the app is still under development, yet so far still the best launcher we had. But guess what? Third big news is that we also reached out to maker of CoverOS and it seems they found the investment worth the effort. So very soon there will also be a version of CoverOS for Vivo X Flip, they say. We tried their early beta version, discovered by accident. For someone without prior experience in Android OS, getting it to work is a real trial by fire. Looks very impressive, scrolling up and down. Once the so-called drawing tool finally connected with CoverScreenOS, even the app started launching. It is a bare-bone version full of ads. Any side click, button or toggle on the app keeps begging for money. And not even a symbolic amount. Ouch! Monthly fees. This screen is very uncanny. Anyways, once set up, apps seem to work equally good on CoverOS. What seems a bit inconvenient is apps can launch and close, but do not toggle. With CoverOS turned on, there is no access to the main dialer. In order to regain access to official menus, CoverOS needs to be disabled through main screen and developer settings. Toggling between the two is currently not possible. But in contrast to the Vivo app, it gives access to Google Play Store. All in all, if you think it is worth throwing your money at it, this app seems to be a little bit more impressive and promises some features the Vivo Screen Assistant did not have yet. However, if you find the installation of CoverScreenOS cumbersome, or for whatever reason does not seem to work well, or if you'd like more flexibility to toggle between apps and official cover screen, then Vivo Screen Assistant got your back. It only requires to be installed and launched. No payments or tweaking around with developer settings required. What would be our preference, you ask? We highly appreciate the effort Vivo support put in customer service. In a short period provided a solution to a problem that might not even concern the main customer base in China. They performed troubleshooting and followed up on our request personally. The app they offer is neither used as a nasty upselling hook, whilst the developer of CoverOS never bothered responding. Also announced the beta release without notifying us, and they did it on the same platform we reached out to them in the first place. Would like to keep referring to this experience as a textbook comparison between Chinese and American-style business conduct. But hey, if it works for you, then who are we to play moral police? Hold on. If you liked or found this video useful, please consider liking and subscribing, or, once it gets set up, consider supporting us on Patreon. Catch you again next time.